Evening all. We welcome you all for the evening session of our STTP sponsored training of AI for enhancing classroom efficiency. So, in this phase three of program, we were all like in the platform of discussion where we could enable ourselves in better classroom teaching through uh, techniques to be followed for enhancing our EI. So, all these sessions were very live and it was more interactive. So, thank you all. And in follow up of all those things, adding one more feather to our cap. So we have today with us the people from Trainer Collective Organization from Mumbai. We have Sitaram sir and Bhartiya ma'am. So I welcome you both for this forum. And they are doing a wonderful job. They do conduct regular programs for EI and managing relationships, stress management, and so. And their programs are something different from the other forums. So the topic, whatever they have, they used to pose will be very different. That's how I got connected to Bhatia ma'am, and she does lot of program for relationship and EI stress management and so. So they both are a wonderful people, and we are glad to welcome you to this forum. Welcome you, Bhatia ma'am, and welcome you, Sitaram sir. Thank you for joining us. And a brief introduction about like the speakers of the day to be given by Kavita. Over to you, Kavita.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Welcome you, sir. Good evening to one and all.
Thank
Welcome
you.
you, ma'am. Now, it's my privilege to introduce a vibrant, multi-talented personality. She's none other than Kumaria, ma'am, who is a founder of Trainer Collective. She's a certified NLP practitioner and emotional intelligence coach for corporates and institutions. So, ma'am has also worked in MNCs like Asian Paints. Ma'am is expertise in change management, organization development, intervention, leadership and development, and goes on. Ma'am is multi-talented. She's also an artist. She strongly advocates self-development of individuals in life and in career. Nice meeting you, ma'am. Thanks for accepting our invitation, ma'am.
Thank
Now
you.
I would like, thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to introduce a energetic, fully positive person. He is none other than G.R. Sitaraman, sir, co-founder, Trainer Collective. Sir is also a certified master NLP practitioner, emotional intelligence coach, gestalt therapist, soft skills, and behavioral trainer for corporate and institutions. Sir is certified and mental health counselor from Tata Institute of Social Science. Sir's goal is to inspire the lives of people. He works with works with including participants and their organizations. Sir has coached and mentored leaders of corporates in various domains like pharma, FMCG, and service industries. Nice meeting you, sir. Thanks for accepting our invitation, both Bhatia ma'am and Sitaraman, sir. Um,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now I would like to handle this session to you both. Over to you both, sir. Ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Kavita.
Thank you, Kavita.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was a wonderful introduction. I don't think we've been introduced with so much enthusiasm before. All right, guys. Thank you so much to all the professionals joining here. I'm very grateful. I think both of us are very grateful that you've taken the time and the opportunity to create awareness and educate more and more individuals such as yourself who are directly connected to students and who work day in and day out. And our entire aim as an organization at Trainer Collective has been to help people grow personally and professionally in all various aspects of their life. And emotional intelligence is a very, very important aspect of that. And we truly are humbled by the opportunity to come and speak at your forum. Hopefully, we can add value, and we'd love to stay in touch with all of you. Today, Mr. Sita and we started this organization about 2.5 years back, and it has been a very interesting ride for both of us. Right from conducting programs locally to now interacting with people on a global level as well. I think we've come a long way, and we hope to keep on adding value to more and more people as we go along through this journey. Today's particular session, as Priyadarshini ma'am had very clearly mentioned that, it's there are certain challenges that all of you are going through day in and day out, and emotional intelligence can basically add a lot of value in terms of helping you get through those challenges. So today we are basically going to be talking about various aspects of how you can maintain emotional resilience during crisis. We'll also be touching upon anger management and how to be empathetic, and we'll also be giving you certain tools and techniques that you can practically use in your everyday life to basically combat any sort of challenges that you would be facing, not just with your students but also in your personal family life or your professional life, because I understand that as teachers, your job can be very, very stressful, and to manage it effectively is probably the only aim, or the only way that you can maintain a work life balance. So whenever Sita sir is ready, I'll just put on the PPT and you can hear us through the audio. Before we end, if you have any questions, we'd like to hear from all of you. And we can start, Sita, if you'd like me. Please, you can start, and I'll share the PPT as and when you're ready.
Yeah. Uh, since this college is from Chennai, I thought I would give my, hearty thanks to all the participants in Tamil. என்னுடைய மனமார்ந்த நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக்கிறேன் டாகூர் இன்ஜினியரிங் காலேஜுக்கு, மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் கமிட்டி, சப்போர்ட் ஸ்டாஃப் எல்லாருக்கும் என்னோட நன்றியை தெரிவிச்சுட்டு இந்த ப்ரோக்ராமை நாங்கள் ஆரம்பிக்கிறோம். அண்ட் ஐ வுட் லைக் டு டேக் த்ரூ த என்டையர் delivery in terms of English, because most of them would be more comfortable in English. So a warm welcome to all of you in our platform. So this particular emotional intelligence topic has become very, very important in today's our day-to-day life, our life and career. Both, it has become a very important part of our life. Now, specifically, if you ask me why this is being getting so much of importance, is we are not really able to understand certain aspects in terms of how emotions can really play our neurological and chemical, in the way it starts reacting your body. That's primarily important. And teachers, professors are in a very noble profession. Being in a noble profession, it's all the more challenging because they have to manage many things. One, their own family, because they come from home every day to the institution. They have to manage students with diversity, cultural, different types of students, different types of mental attitudes and mindsets. Over and above, you have to manage also their home also. Work and home life balance is very, very important. So if you do not have a proper good emotional mental health, it becomes a problem. Second is managing your interpersonal relationship. This is also equally important because you are in a environment where you are constantly in touch with people. So your interactive skills, the way you move with people, the empathy, the resilience, all that you show are very important, so that your happiness and joy in your life is important. So keeping all that in mind, we always try to relate to our participants in very simple, I would say, mantras, or I would say the guide how to be emotionally and mentally strong health. Okay. Now, uh, to start with, I would give you some four important, I would say, you can say it as a quote, or you can keep it as your, you can always remember this in life. If you can remember this, there'll be a change which is going to happen in your life. What you resist will persist, and what you accept will transform. In simple words, what you resist will always persist. See, we always try to resist many things, and that always persists. That is number one. The second is pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. The third one is don't fix what's not broken. Most of the time, we live our life either in the timeline or the past, or we live in future. We are never living in the now. So this is another major concern human being as a species. Change your words, you will change your world. So it's important to watch your self-talk, which is happening every day. Morning when you get up, it's important the way you get up, the way you think, the positivity, the way you start your life, and the way you start moving to your workplace. It's very, very important. Now, coming to the mental health. Mental health is being spoken very indiscriminately of late, but people don't understand what is mental health and what is mental illness. So today I will take you through what mental health is all about. And it is very important, especially in this pandemic and corona period, because many people were not even prepared for this crisis. And suddenly when it hit, you know, we were not ready for really handling this crisis. So mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his her own abilities, can cope up with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make contribution to his or her community. So this is a definition by World Health Organization. As we progress, I will make it more simplified so that you understand mental health is very important, especially in all professions, but I would say all the more important for teachers and professors, because they are somewhere in the middle where you have to ensure that the management objectives are also fulfilled. At the same time, the students and parents have certain expectations. These are also fulfilled. So mental health has become a very important area in terms of every human being in today's world. There are three components of mental health. One is emotional, the second is the psychological, and the third is the social well-being. Now, emotional well-being is nothing but you are happy, there is an interest in life and satisfaction. So how do you ensure that this happens? You are constantly evolving. Human being is not a static entity. We are only energies moving around constantly. And because as an energy, we are constantly moving and not static, we look for constant experience with the environment, which I will explain when as we progress. Psychological well-being is liking most parts of one's own personality, being good at managing the responsibilities of daily life, having good relationship with others, and being satisfied with one's own life. Today, the challenges are two types of challenges, which will also, as we go to the next slide and further, I will discuss with you. Now, just understand the components of mental health only: the emotional well-being, the psychological well-being, and social well-being. So social well-being, nothing but positive functioning and involves social contribution. But that is nothing but something you try to always contribute in a positive way to the society. That is a social integration, feeling part of a community. So you must always feel that I am also a part of the community. That's a social actualization. Believes that the society is becoming a better place for all people. So, if we are empathetic towards every human being, that is the I would say a small drop in the ocean to make it more larger in terms of contributing towards a better place for all people. So, social acceptance. Now, the positive attitude towards others while acknowledging their difficulties. So, many times, what happens when we are interacting with your superiors, or when we are interacting with our own peer group or our own, colleagues, we have a lot of, commotion in terms of interaction. The reason is we are constantly judging, and we are also attached to many things which are actually not good in terms of our social well-being. So because of this constant touch with the environment, there is a strong possibility of being getting lost somewhere. Then comes the social coherence, being able to make meaning of what is happening in the society. So all these four subcomponents of social well-being are equally important, and these are extremely important in terms of our mental health being strong. I would put it that way. Okay. Now, before going to the next slide, I'll tell you many of us in our day to day life have been trained not to accept negative emotions. Okay, negative emotions are emotions. They are like polarity. See, if you see in one's life, there is always emotions also have a polarity. Let's first understand what are emotions first. Emotions are instinctive and neurological reactions, a stimulus, creating biochemical and electrical reactions activated through neurotransmitters and hormones released by the brain. In other words, whenever an emotion comes, there is an immediate neurological reactions in a stimulus, and it creates a biochemical and electrical reactions, and it activates through the neurotransmitters and hormones released by the brain. I can tell you today morning, I received a call from a lady who is around 56 years old. She's a homemaker. Throughout her life, she got married at the age of 18. Throughout her life, she has been going through a fear psycho because of her husband being very, very narcissistic personality. I'll tell you what narcissistic personality is about, very dominating in nature, very autocratic, whatever he says is right. And at the same time, ruling the house like a Hitler, Adolf Hitler. So throughout life, she has been living like that, and she has got a psycho and a fear. And he was in staying in abroad, he was staying in various countries, and finally now he has retired and is at home now. Last 3 years, he has been into all sort of drinking and all those habits, because he is out of, once a person retires, he doesn't know what to do, not using his time very constructively. All that she was saying to me, and I was listening to her, but I could see one thing which was worrying me is there is a fear psycho which has caught in her. Throughout her life, she has lived in a fear. And because of this fear, there is her hands are trembling, and her emotions are going haywire at times. Even she is afraid of her son. Son is also trying to dominate the same way, because he has been observing from young age what father is doing. So why I'm saying this is, I can see what's happening. She was only telling my feelings, and she was explaining these emotions through feelings. Just see, imagine, she was telling her feelings, what she has gone through in her 30 years of life, but she was explaining her emotions, what she has gone through her feelings. But I could see that it can slowly lead to physical well-being issues. I can also see that she has to live with this man. She has no choice. This narcissistic personality is something where it is a disorder, and this will continue. Although those days there was no therapy, people did not believe in therapy. They felt that mental issues are not something to be addressed or spoken to anybody. This is the problem today, that it manifests and magnitudes to such an extent that she doesn't know. And luckily, her daughter, since I'm doing a lot of psychotherapy individually and coaching and counseling, this her daughter had advised this lady to speak to me. And today I could see, but I told her that, ma'am, I won't be able to talk to you separately. I would like your husband to speak first, because her problem and her psycho, her phobia cannot be immediately removed, because it's going to be there for quite some time and requires multiple therapy. The idea of giving this particular case study is psychological well-being is very, very important for every teacher and every professor today. Self-acceptance is important. Today, she's not able to accept herself. That's why I brought this example and this case study, which happened today morning. And the lady was literally wanted to speak to me more and more. But since of time constraint, I said, at first, I would like to have an appointment with your husband first, and then I will take over your case. Purpose in life is important. The purpose of life is very important. Why I'm insisting on this is, there are 2 days which are important in everyone's life. The day you are born is important, because that is the day we really celebrate birthday. The second day is why you are born is important. Many of us live our life throughout without knowing why we are living our life. So purpose in life is important. Every human being has got talent. Every human being has got strength. Every human being also has got limitations, but they are not photocopy. They are original in nature. Please understand this. That's why you see we have all the problems. We expect the way we feel, the way we have emotions, the other person also should have, which is not realistic. Every human being is different. They are original in nature and they are not photocopy. So it's important that each one of you, please, never, better late than never, take a piece of paper and write what is the purpose of your life, goals and beliefs, whatever be the age, still you can start your life. Autonomy, self-direction as guided by one's own socially accepted internal standards. So self-direction is also equally important. We need to know a direction. We may not know the destination, but we should have a direction. Positive relationship with others, extremely important. It is, I would say it's not a norm. It's a way of life. You should have a positive relation with people. Then only you will have a better life. Your happiness is not only, although we say happiness is something inside, at times happiness can also be external in terms of, the people with whom you live in. Environmental mastery is important. So when you are in constant touch with an environment, you should understand the environment very well. That's why we always say in Gestalt psychotherapy, be aware. Be aware in the here and now. We are always living either in the timeline or we are living in the future. So nobody knows the future. We are not aware of the future. But definitely we are aware of the here and now. This minute is in our control. And the personal growth, the insight into one's own potential for self development is very, very important. We should know how we can have a chart out program in terms of our own growth. Okay. Now, if you see, emotions have polarity. There is joy, there is sadness, there is anger, there is a fear, there is a trust, there is a disgust, there is a surprise, there is an anticipation. So in life, like there is sun, there is moon, there is day, there is night. Problem is, we are always into one side of the polarity. It is important to go to one side of the polarity, but at the same time, it is also equally important that how fast we are able to come back to its original position. Original position is what? The middle position. So why I'm saying is we always want to be in joy. We always want to be in a particular emotion, like, happiness or joy or whatever it is, one side of the polarity. But it's also important to accept that there is always the other polarity. In simple terms, I can tell you today, ignoring negative emotions. Many, you see, if you see, there is always a problem with boy. In fact, I would say today, women are much emotionally stronger than men in terms of emotions. The reason I'll tell you, from young age, the women go through a lot of emotional turmoil from the age of 5 till they become women. I can tell you various phases in various ways. Like at the age of 5, when the biological, the physical age changes, the parents say that we imagine there is a boy and a girl at home. The parents say, no, you don't go out in the night, you don't play, let the boy go, let him, so we keep pushing the boy that you do this, you do that, but the girls are always kept indoor and all that. But there is a lot of emotional turmoil happening for this female when they are kept under certain boundaries. At the age of 12, then when there is a puberty, then again there is a confusion, why this to me? And then when they become adolescent and they become 18, that womanhood, and goes on and goes on. So they constantly face emotional turmoils, and every time with their own resources and from the source, they evolve. So women evolves in terms of emotions. Men have been told, do not show your emotions, whereas the emotions are same for men and women. There is no that women have got separate emotions and men have got separate emotions. The emotions are absolutely same. But the problem is, the men are being brought up in such a fashion that you don't show your emotions. You have to be a boy, you have to be strong, you have to show your identity, you have to be, this and that. And what happens, they start pushing their emotions. Negative emotions, if you ignore it, it is like poison in your system. It is just poison in your system. Learn to understand everything that you feel. The aim isn't to force positive thoughts, but to transform the negative ones into something more healthier so that you can feel better. So many times what happens, we push negative emotions, and then what happens, it starts, magnifying and hits you when a crisis happens. So if you see in this chart, mental the mental health and the mental illness, we are talking about how mental health is high and mental health is low. So where there is a mental health high and you would say this quadrant of struggling, where a person who experiences high level of well-being despite of being diagnosed with a mental illness. Here is a case where mental illness has already been diagnosed, but he's trying to show that he's at high level of well-being. And if you see the floundering, here a person is experiencing mental illness who has a low level of mental well-being. So mental well-being is actually low, but he has been experiencing mental illness. So it's a complete mental illness. Languishing. In fact, why I'm talking about this part is when we go to the emotional intelligence part, you will be able to clearly, translate yourself and understand why emotional intelligence is important. So in languishing, there is an incomplete mental health where a person who has no diagnosable mental illness and has a low level of mental well-being. So mental health is nothing but your mental well-being and emotional well-being in proper place. And the flourishing is the part where a person who has a high level of mental being and who has no mental illness. So this is just a quadrant where I can show you the dual continuum model of mental health by Keyes and Lopez, 2002. Okay. Now, before now I'll tell you what is the difference between a mental health and a mental illness. As I had told you earlier, we are not static. We are constant in terms of energy. We are constantly moving. And we have two types of challenges in our life. We are constantly in touch with the environment for experiences. So when you are having constant experience with environment, there are setbacks, there are failures, there are lack of resources, there are oppositions, there are blocks, there can be politics, there can be conflicts, it can go on and go on and go on. And there are internal challenges. Because of these external challenges, some internal challenges also start affecting you. One is emotional, vulnerabilities, self-doubt, anxiety, stress, and so on and so on. So, having seen the external challenge and the internal challenge, a human being is constantly still in touch with the environment. And the moment his need is fulfilled, there is a satisfaction for few seconds or few minutes, and again he goes for the next need, and again he is in the constant touch with the environment. In other words, every day we get up in the morning and go to office. Why? It can be for family needs, it can be for money, it can be for job satisfaction, it can be going for everything. But fact is, because of some problem, we don't stop working completely, right? We still go and imagine you're not liking a job. Okay, you leave the job, but you again join the next job, right? You want to continue your life. But what happens then? This is mental health. In fact, if you're struggling with the challenge of internal and external and still continuing, that is meant you are very much worried about keeping your mental health intact. So you want to flourish. But what is mental illness? The moment you stop having any experience with an environment, that means what? You don't want to go for a job. You don't want to go to the college. You don't want to do anything. And this symptom is continuing for a longer period, not for a short period, maybe for a quite longer period, then it is a symptom of mental illness. So here, an intervention is required. So most of the time, you see, there is a difference between sadness and depression. You can be sad maybe for a few hours, but you can come back and again go to the college. Similarly, if you are not willing to go at all for a longer period and you want to withdraw from the experiences, then the mental illness has started. So we call it in psychological terms, interferences has started. So when interferences take over experiences, mental illness starts. So what is important? You have to be emotionally stable and emotionally intelligent. How do you do that? The best way is to have a clear idea about your own self-awareness. Self-awareness is the first, I would say, important parameter for good emotional well-being. So if you see the 6 elements of mental health, you see the body and mind equilibrium, emotional intelligence, stress and coping mechanisms, the purpose, resilience, and adversity management. So self-awareness is nothing but understanding yourself first. Your understanding yourself is very, very important. If you don't understand yourself, I don't think we can understand others. Most of us are not mindful. So that's why you see it is quite difficult. Some yogis and big people, they can be with you at the same time, they may not be with you. Like their energies can travel anywhere. That is because they have disciplined their mind to be there and not to be there. But as a human being like us, we can't. So we need to format our disk on and off, which is happening in our brain by doing meditation. I'm not saying you have to do the meditation the whole day. 5 minutes, you can close your eyes, format your hard disk, which is on the brain, and go to your workplace. You will have a new software getting loaded, which is a different version. So there are 3 things, if you see in this: extremely hard steel and a diamond, and to know oneself. So meditation will start opening up in terms of giving you a new horizon. It'll start, okay, fine, I am getting self-aware. And when you are getting self-aware, automatically you will find that it becomes much easier for you to manage your daily life. So be aware in the here and now. Accept the timeline. We don't know the future. We can plan for the future, no doubt. But please be here now. Imagine you enter a college, you enter the campus. Yes, today morning I had a problem at my home. Sometimes your own children become a challenge at home. As a professor, as a teacher, when you get up in the morning and when you start going to the college, you may face some challenge early in the morning. There may be a fight, there may be some other disturbance, some other mental issue. Then you come with the same mind to enter the campus. I am sure we will pass it on to the students. So what we should do, because students also come with different mental issues, they also have their own problems. So it is important to be here and now when you enter the college, like switching off for some time. And how do you do that? The only way is, I told, meditation can be one form, or we should train our mind to switch off and be in the here and now and start a new day in the college. So it is important to be self-aware. How do you do that? Emotional insight. When you are traveling from your house to your college, also you can actually go inside and see what are the emotions which have been running from early morning today in my in my mind and my brain. What is happening actually? So when you are able to do that, you will get some idea what's all happening to you. And if you see, only 15% of people are self-aware. Companies with more self-aware professionals have shown stronger financial performance and better performance at work. This is because people who are self-aware are people who are socially aware to a great extent, because they are able to read their own feelings and emotions. If you are able to read your own feelings and emotions, it is very easy to understand others' feelings and emotions. But many times what happens, we don't know ourselves, we try to know others. That means it is purely judgment. Sometimes we work with intuition, that is okay. But when we are constantly judging people, we don't know actually what is going through or what problem they are going through. So why do we think we know enough about ourselves when we don't? Your perspective on yourself is distorted. So many times our perspective on ourselves is distorted. Self-interest colors are our social judgment. We also have certain self-interest colors. Social relationships help define our sense of self. Outward appearance tell people a lot about you. So imagine you know about your strengths, you know your own limitations, you know your emotional insight, and you ask a feedback in the college with your colleague or somebody. Why don't you rate me on these parameters? Imagine they rate you the way you think. That means you are self-aware. That means it is matching. What others think about you and what you think about yourself both matches. That means your awareness is slowly growing. Second thing, let us understand that emotional intelligence subject is not a finished product. Many people think I have become emotionally intelligent. I can get a certificate. I can get many things, but that does not give you a license that you have become emotionally intelligent, because it's a work in progress throughout our life till our last breath. We are constantly learning. It's a work in progress. So there is no destination for emotional intelligence. If somebody says, I will give you a magic wand, you will become emotionally intelligent. From today, you will be a certified professional. It's all fine, nice to hear. But if I am not able to become emotionally intelligent, how do I train others? So I need to practice every day. Okay. Now, your self concept, I would say, okay, this is something. Bharti is going to empathy now. Hello?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a minute. Let me first see.
Is there
Yeah,
any?
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
You can
okay,
talk
fine.
about it, but the
Yeah.
next one is.
So I can just quickly tell your self concept of who am I is important before going to the empathy part. The self awareness is the ability to see ourselves with our own eyes, to be aware of her. So many times I ask students, I have been interviewing students for the past 20, 30 years. I mean, 2 decades. I was working with a company called Mafoy Randstand, Mafoy Management Consultants Limited for a long time. K. Pandeyarajan, who is the current cultural minister, Tamil cultural minister of Tamil Nadu, was my managing director earlier. Of course, he has sold Mafoy Management Consultants to Randstand International Company. Now, having been working with him very closely, interviewing a lot of students and, I would say prospective job seekers, I've understood one thing. People are good in functional skills, really good. They are good in IT, they are good in finance, they are good in marketing, everything is fine. But when I ask this question, what are your goals? What are your beliefs? What are your values? What drives you? What are the rules you follow in life? What is the self-talk is all about? They are not able to answer. The reason is awareness is poor. Now comes the most critical part, because within an hour we are covering both the self-awareness and social awareness. This is a very important component in terms of, I would say, emotional intelligence. So I would like to take you through empathy. What is empathy is all about? So empathy is a very important area in today's, I would say, in today's context, every corporate, every company, every institution is talking about empathy. Quickly, I'll narrate you a story about what empathy is all about. There was a man who lost his son in Andhra Pradesh. He had lost his son in an accident. He was traveling from his village to Hyderabad with because the government of the son was working in a public sector undertaking. So he had some papers to be submitted so that he can get his dues. He was traveling all the way from his small village where he had a friend, and his this friend's son was in Hyderabad. So he said, do one thing, go and meet my son. My son would help you to get done all the formalities. Take all these papers, go and meet my son. He would help you. So this man on a rainy day from the village carried all the papers from a small village in Andhra Pradesh, carrying it to Hyderabad. And it was a night, it was raining. He went and knocked a door and said that I am so and so and so. I am being referred by my friend who also stays in the village, and I believe you are his son. And he said, my son has died in an accident. Everything he said, without even knowing who he is. So the introduction happened, and this person, this boy said, okay, please come in. and he gave him, water. Then he asked his wife to get him some, something to eat, and then asked him to sleep and said, tomorrow morning I'll take you to the government office and I will ensure that this job is done. So when he was there in the morning, when he got up, this boy has already taken holiday, and he said, I will take you. He said, no, you don't have to take holiday. Just leave me in the office. I will do the formalities. But this boy said, no problem. I'll ensure that this is done. So he took all his papers, helped him to deposit, and did all the formalities. When he did completed all the formalities, he was very happy. And while he wanted to go back to his village, he was about to board an intrastate bus. So when he got up in the intrastate bus, this man thanked him and said that, and thank you, that you have been really help, and I will tell your father that you have been really helpful to me. When I reached the village, this boy said, I am not his son. I am somebody else. You have come to the wrong address. He stays in the next road in the same address. By mistake, you came to my house, but I checked with their family, and his son is actually traveling on official work, and his wife gave his number, and I spoke to him, and he said, yes, I am his father's son, and please help him in whatever way it's possible. This is empathy, and I would say how he could understand the feelings and emotions of a person who is going through this pain. This is empathy. Now, it starts with me, family, friends, neighbors, co-workers, community, nation, strangers, ecosystem, and other species. So, if we can relate our feelings and emotions to others, the story may not be interesting, the experiences may not be interesting. Please take pains to speak to people. Do not stop talking to people. When you speak, you become light. Everybody will not have solutions for everything. I cannot give solutions for everything because it may not be my circus, it may not be my monkey. I cannot be the ringmaster in everyone's circus. But when you speak and tell and cry, I would say cry. Somebody, you will find a way. In fact, I have given you the best way to manage your emotions. When you actually open up and cry to somebody, letting out all your feelings and emotions, your job is done. You'll find a way out. So it's important. So empathy is nothing but knowing others' feelings and emotions and able to manage. Now I'll come to the most important part of emotion. I would say, yeah, self-concept. I told you there's nothing but the goals, beliefs, values, drivers, rules, and self-talk. So self-talk, awareness, empathy, all are related to each other, I would say. Okay, Bharti, I think we are in the self-concept slide.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bharti?
Sita, we are on to the. Yeah. Can you see now?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Now, what anger? Anger is a beautiful emotion. If I tell you anger is a beautiful emotion, you may not agree with me, but it's important that anger is also a beautiful emotion. That doesn't mean that you will constantly be angry. Angry also has a limitation. Sometimes we shout at children, right? But if you constantly shout, the child will not bother you. Well, he's like that only, I don't care. So what causes anger, I would say, is ego. Ego is the basic cause of anger. How can you challenge me? How can you? Ego is nothing but edging God out. You're removing God outside, edging God out. So that's one cause. Second is fear. We all fear. Fear is another cause. So we can know anger is used as a defensive response to feelings of helplessness. Then comes frustration. Imagine somebody is constantly trying to correct somebody or trying to push their point, and there is constant, defense mechanism by the other side. You get angry. Desire is the main cause. Desire is the main cause. When something we crave is not acquired, the anger is triggered. Imagine I want this and that doesn't happen. Definitely I will be angry. And sometimes what happens over a period of time, if this continues, there is a hormonal imbalance. So low testosterone in men and menopause in women can cause depression, mood swings, and anger. So sometimes, when women, when there's a menopause situation or during, certain periods, is important to give them that emotional care, and just a genuine touch also will do, and they will feel good. So these are the main causes of anger. And how do you do the anger management? We'll come to the most important part of anger management model. Today, anger management is very important because it can go to a rage. And once people get rage, you don't know what they are doing. Sometimes most of the fights, most of the problems are because of uncontrolled anger. So first is understand the physiology of anger. In fact, I'll tell you, many people have heart issues and problems because of constantly the chemical imbalance of anger they are being showing. In fact, we do emotional intelligence coaching for many individuals and corporates. We have been doing, and I have seen people who always say, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. There is an interpersonal communication problem, which I have seen with my own experiences when they do the assessment, and when I do the assessment and interpretation of their tests, emotional intelligence tests. People who say yes sir also have a problem, because internally they're boiling. Actually, it is no sir inside. Inside it is no sir, but to satisfy the superior, they have said yes sir. So because of that, there is an anger also, and there is a physiology problem. Understand the factors that drive the anger. So assertiveness is important. You may not be aggressive to a superior. You may not be aggressive to your colleagues and your subordinates, but you should be assertive. If you have to say no, say nicely no. Don't have to be say, no, I won't do this, I can't do this, I don't have. And very nicely you say, ma'am or sir, I have this problem. Can I do it later? Is it possible? Can I, because is it really urgent that I have to complete it in 10 minutes? Can I do it tomorrow? Or is it very important? Ask the right questions. At the same time, I am already into some other work. Can you give me some more time? They would be happy. I mean, I think that's a very, very positive dialogue, I would say. Please start practicing this. Assertiveness is being misunderstood as aggressiveness. It's wrong. Assertiveness is nothing but standing for yourself. Otherwise, we become doormat. I'm not saying that everybody should keep on saying yes, sir. Sometimes you have to say no, sir, because it affects your health. And then learn to manage stress. Automatically, you will be able to manage stress. And once you are able to manage stress, empathy will always come, because you are also able to understand others' point of view, others' feelings and emotions. Learn to respond instead of reacting. Improve self-image through positive self-talk. Always use positive self-talk, irrespective of the worst of the time you are facing. Learn to manage expectations, because you should know that this is possible, this is not possible. Then only you will be able to manage it. And last but not the least, learn to retreat and strategize. We need to retreat and strategize every move of our. So this 8-step anger management model is a wonderful model. I think we all should practice this. Okay. Now, now it'll coming to building emotional resilience. Now, resilience is another important area, and we all are talking about resilience, but resilience comes only with practice. How do you do that? Constantly, you have to practice. How do you do that? In fact, we should understand there is a physical element, there is a mental or psychological element in this, there are social elements, and there are stress management. So if you are able to go through this entire cycle of how to manage stress, how to mentally and psychological elements can be taken care, how to manage social, interpersonal relationship at home, at workplace, group conformity, likability, all these factors. So resilience comes with practice. When emotions start hijacking you, take a step back. Sometimes you imagine you are in a crisis. Everybody is shouting emotionally, everybody is talking emotionally. Just take a step back. If possible, put a slipper, go out for a walk, think, come back. You will see there will be a much better situation at home. Because if you are continuing the emotional dialogue for a long period, you may have a problem. Even in your office, if you feel that it's important to take a small break, take breaks. Because we all have constant pressure, and emotional resilience is nothing but bouncing back from a stressful encounter and not letting it affect our internal motivation. Because many times boss may or somebody will shout. You may not be wrong, you may be right. Still he might have shouted for the wrong reason or for a wrong yeah. So what you should do is, do not accept the person, but you have to detach from your emotions and feelings, because that is that negative emotion will come when somebody shouts at you. But try to detach. Attachment and detachment you have to practice. Like, without this I will not be happy, I refuse to be happy if this happens to me. Or that is something which you have to slowly master it. Then you will see slowly, if you practice attachment and detachment, you will be able to manage your emotions far far better, and the resilience will come over a period of time. So attachment and detachment is nothing but managing your emotions and feelings. In fact, I will talk about Bhagavad Gita a bit, so that you will understand how important it is. In Gita, when I would say Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna was struggling, in fact, Arjuna was a very emotionally intelligent person. He was able to explain very well Krishna that what turmoil is going through emotionally, in terms of the war. He has to fight his cousins, he has to fight his own people. He said, I can't fight this and all that. So if you see Ramayana and Mahabharata, before going to Gita, I thought I'll just give you a small insight of Ramayana and Mahabharata. We call it as itihas, but the thing is, it is conventionally translated as a history, but it is nothing but a tense agnostic term. In other words, so it was, so it is, and so it will be. It's a timeless concept. So Ramayana and Mahabharata were in two different yugas. So in keeping that yugas, we have to look at it in a very different perspective. Okay. So if you go to the next slide, you can see that the whole Mahabharata war, I would say, is only about dharma. If you see, it is only about dharma, and there is empathy at one side, and there is an exploitation the other side. So, as Lord says, there is exploitation and there is empathy. So, empathy is nothing but dharma, and exploitation is nothing but adharma. So, there is something in the middle called animal instinct. So, this is the principle of dharma, I would say. And if you go to the next slide, you can see that the important factors of the emotional intelligence will come into this. Yeah. I think, Bharti, we've gone to the self-concept slide.
Yeah, Sita, because
Yeah,
of the time,
yeah. So I'll quickly, I'll quickly just tell you about what, since I was carrying that, I thought I'll close it. So in Arjuna, the dilemma was whether I should fight with these people or not. So he was emotionally intelligent, understanding person, but when it came to fighting people, he was having problem. So life is very simple. Self differentiating others is one boundary. Self including others is another boundary. So he was trying to include everybody and without boundary, which is nothing but boundaryless. Problem is, he was actually following a dharma, but the fact is he has to be in the middle and emotionally stable, because already the boundaries have been set much before the war. In simple terms, it's important to understand our boundary with others, whether it is family or our environment. And the second, when you are including others also, like when we are having social interaction, relationship management, you should also understand there are boundaries. So in simple terms, self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management, all the four components are extremely important. And with that, I would like to end my session, because there is a lot of, it's a concept which can go for 4 to 5 days. I thought within this small time allotted to us, I could cover only this. And I would like to hand it over to Bharati. And thank you, the management of Tagore Engineering College, for giving myself and Bharati this wonderful chance to interact with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Just before we close, this is just our next event. In case any of you are interested, we are doing a 5-day boot camp starting from 21st. It's basically on all the things that we just mentioned, but for 5 days. It's a certified program. We also do emotional intelligence certification program that Priyadarshini ma'am very well is aware of. Besides that, we also do one-on-one personal coaching and counseling interventions on mental health, as well as any other crisis that you would be going in your personal or professional life. So I would request ma'am to share our details in case anybody of you are interested to reach out to us. You can always reach out to us on our personal contact numbers, and we'll be happy to help you. Also, if anybody has any questions, I think we are close with the time, but we'd love to hear from all the participants also, ma'am, as to how they, what they thought of the session, and in case they have any particular questions that we can help them out with, that will be great. Yes, Priyadarshini ma'am, please.
So participants, do you have any questions? If you have any questions, kindly please you can ask questions to Bharti ma'am and sir.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Yes,
Good
Suraj
evening.
sir.
Yeah, what is emotional blackmail?
That's what I've mentioned in the chat. It's the darker side of emotional intelligence. We do this. We do this specifically. See, one is people who are emotionally intelligent can do emotional blackmail very well, because they understand themselves very well. They understand their feelings. They understand their emotions. So they can easily hijack others' feelings and emotions as per their wants and expectations, in simple terms. So emotional blackmail is nothing but some people use the darker side of emotional intelligence and not the positive side of emotional intelligence. So be aware of such people. They are manipulators, I would say.
Sir, generally those who are in high position, they can play the game. But the subordinate, suppose play the game, the higher official can understand this one. So
No,
if
but if
somebody
you're,
understand that you are
yeah,
playing game, so easily they can trap. So nowadays everybody is intelligent in here, as you told. People have some sense to understand. So I don't understand. I know some people are doing emotional blackmail, but I get confused if somebody speaks emotional blackmail. Emotion is come from in inner. Then
yeah,
somebody want to again hijack inner means again is confused. Depends upon the situation. Okay, you can
yeah,
tell. See, I
yeah.
cannot
So
emotional blackmail my son or my wife,
yeah, but
even
you
my
see,
parents.
that is why I told you that life. Please, I told you something. Self. The life is nothing but differentiating self from others with a boundary, and including self and others with a boundary. So it is nothing to do with only environment. Even with your son or wife or anybody, we should understand boundaries. So you should know, because I am very attached to my son and whatever he says, I should be a victim for it, then it's a problem. Then lifelong you will have a problem. So you should
Thank you.
know, yeah. So
Thank you.
there
Thank you.
are boundaries even with your child also. There are boundaries even with your child also.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So I have a question, sir.
Please.
You said that there is some boundaries, right? How
Yeah,
to identify that boundaries, sir?
yeah.
I
Like,
might know my boundary, but the
okay.
question is how you will identify that this is Kavita's boundary and we should not comment to it. How to identify it or how to find
Okay,
it out?
okay, okay. Very nice. Imagine you are in a workplace. You are in touch with, constantly interacting with people and all that. And you have got a great friendship with people. Okay, great. Now somebody is coming to you and cracking jokes. Some jokes are acceptable to you. Some jokes are not acceptable to you. When in the process of this dialogue, you say no, or you show a displeasure, that's a boundary. I am giving you the simplest example. The moment you say that this is not acceptable to me, because or you show a body language displeasure, that's the boundary. So it is important for the other person to understand these boundaries. Unfortunately, when the boundaries are complex, confused, and people keep stretching it, then there is always a problem of emotional issues.
So there comes the anger, and that anger should be
Yes.
managed by myself.
Yeah.
So that's also
Naturally, you will get angry because these boundaries
uh,
are becoming confusing. Because that person, in spite of you saying, in spite of you showing a displeasure that this is not acceptable to me, still he continues. Then either you have to manage your emotions or leave the place.
leave the place. Okay, that's this suits. I think so, sir.
Yeah, whichever way it is, the choice is yours, but it's important to manage your emotions in a positive way, but accept that there is a negative emotion which has already started coming in you.
Okay, okay.
Boundaries are boundaries, no doubt about that.
So
Thank
the thing is, the takeaway is like I should know others' boundary. At the same time, I should also show my boundary that the other should not enter in. Right, sir?
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Then you will live happily.
Oh, thank you, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
It's
I
not
think.
only for Kavita, sir. This question is for everyone, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, sir. Thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I
sir.
think somebody
The
was asking
participant.
some. Yeah, some people are asking in chat. So how do I take it? Because I want to answer all of them. Should I take it offline or how it is? What do you suggest? I saw some chats coming in.
It's, any one question we can, I think, already it
Good
is.
evening, sir. Sir, you give some daily tips that we have to follow for being an emotionally
Yeah,
intelligent person.
yeah. In fact, I will send. I'll tell you what is important for a person who wants to be emotionally intelligent. I can tell you what an emotionally intelligent person will normally live their life. Okay, 10 habits of high IQ people. Okay, 10 habits of high emotionally intelligent people. They will label their feelings rather than labeling people or situations. They will label their feelings rather than labeling people or situations. Number one. Number two, they can distinguish between thoughts and feelings. One is thought, one is feeling. There is a difference between thought and feeling. So they will try to be rational more than feeling based. Most of the time, you see, people are very feeling based. Even bosses, also, sometimes nowadays, I see the problem with leadership today is people are very emotional. Even they try to manage people with feelings. Not possible. Bosses have to understand their own feelings and emotions, and then only their rationality will come. Third, they should take responsibility for their feelings. They should not push it onto somebody else. It is their responsibility for their feelings. They also use their feelings to help them make their decisions. See, sometimes if you're not feeling good, it should also help you to take positive decisions. Fifth, they also show respect for others' feelings. It's important to respect others' feelings also. Somebody is having a serious problem in the office or at home, respect that feelings first. You may not have, I would say, complete acceptance of what they're saying, but accept at least the feelings. It's important to ask them, how do you feel, rather than how are you and all. How do you feel now? These are the small words you start. How are you feeling today? Most of us ask, how are you? Why don't you ask, how are you feeling? We don't ask this question. Hope all is fine. hope you are feeling good today. Can't ask these questions. It's very, very simple to start with. Validate others people's feelings. That is also equally. You need to validate, show empathy, understand acceptance of others people's feelings. Start in a small way. It is not difficult. Start today in the here and now. Practice getting a positive value from their negative emotions. Because sometimes, you practice a positive value. How do I feel and what would you help me to feel better? These are all very important. Another important thing, do not advise, command, control, criticize, judge, or lecture to others. This is something we all do. Moment somebody says a problem, we start advising, we start commanding, we yes, do that, do this, and all that. People may not agree to it. And avoid people who invalidate them or don't respect their feelings. If somebody is not respecting, just avoid them. Respecting their feelings, I would say. So if they're not respecting their feelings, just as far as possible, avoid such people because they are constantly giving you a self-esteem issue. So these are 10, which I think probably I will, Kavita, I will send it to you by WhatsApp so that you can share it with your team.
Sure, sir. Sure. Sure, sir.
I'll send
because
this.
I've taken 9 points, so I too missed 1 point.
Okay,
so
which
sure,
one
sir.
you
Please
missed?
send me.
I will
I
send you
don't.
by WhatsApp. And
Oh, sure.
another important thing which I thought I'll tell you is how to develop emotional health. Express your feelings in an appropriate way. Always
Okay.
express your feelings in an appropriate way. Think before you act. Think before you act, before jumping into something. Strive for balance in your life. You should balance. See, sometimes it is important to balance your life. Work-life balance is very, very important. We are only talking about it today, but work-home life balance is important. Otherwise, you will break one day. You feel like I will leave the job and quit the job and run away. Or family will also suffer. Calm your mind and body. How to calm? Maybe mindfulness, small meditation process, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Be to yourself. Only be to yourself and take care of yourself last but not the least. Physically, mentally, emotionally. That's all. There's no other mantra in this. Thank you, Kavita. Thank you. I hope.
So one more question, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, no
Some
problem.
people are there who get good names, appreciation, uh, not inside the family, from other family, other than family members. But inside the family, they won't be appreciated
Right.
or recognized, or they won't get that much of good name. They used to always say something like all those things. So why this happens, and how to manage it?
Yeah. Very, very wonderful question.
Good
People who
question.
are at people who are at home, they tend to have more knowledge about you, right? People who are at home, because they are every day, they are with you, they are constantly in touch with you, so their experiences with you are more. I am not saying that whatever they give feedbacks are right, but sometimes really take some of the feedbacks seriously. The whole world may say that you are very good. Your own husband or your own child may not give you a good rating. They may say, okay, you are 5, 6 out of 0 to 10. Don't invalidate that. It is important to validate those, because I'm not saying you have to take all the feedback. Sometimes it can be biased just to put you down. But some of them you keep asking more questions. If you feel that, okay, this is an area where I require improvement, please ask more and more about this. Then you will see they will actually tell you the truth about you. So please take that seriously. Your feedback at home can also give a new dimension about yourself. Don't ignore it. So don't worry, others will always praise you because they want to please you. It's okay. Everybody
Okay.
in the world would please you. Yeah, Priya, ma'am. You want
Yes,
to
sir.
ask me something?
No, sir.
Yeah.
No.
So the whole world will please you, but please go. I would say, Kavita, go home, ask your very close family member, 0 to 10, what is your rating today? They will tell you the actual rating.
Okay.
They will give you the actual rating because they want goodness for you. their intention is not bad. They really want goodness for you.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
You
That's
try,
it.
try to say that, you mean to say that we might think what we do is very good and best, but
Yeah.
to people around us might not feel that is up to the mark.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. They are the people who will actually validate you. But I'm not saying all their feedbacks have to be taken positively, but certain feedbacks will match with the way you are also thinking about yourself.
And it might be beyond expectations also.
Beyond expectations also.
Because we are always seen as above the benchmark, superwoman,
Right.
or superman, heroes,
Yeah.
heroine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's what.
Yeah. That's what.
We do expect this from our kids also, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yes. So thank you, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank you.
extending your time to answer all our
No
questions.
problem. No
It
problem.
was a wonderful session and a very lively session and more
Thank you.
informative session, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
It
you.
was like
Thanks
a
for giving us an opportunity.
dhyan for many of us. You will
Yeah.
give. That's
Yeah.
also.
I would like Bharti to speak a few words. Bharti, please.
No, thank you so much, ma'am. Our whole agenda at Trainer Collective is to answer all the questions that we possibly can. Unfortunately, the time is small. Not too much today. So Sita sir otherwise would have answered all the questions. But you can always let us know if anybody has any questions, and
Details
we'll
in
be
the
happy.
group.
Sorry, ma'am.
So we'll put your details in the group so that whoever is interested will get in touch with you.
Yes, ma'am. Please do so. Anybody who's interested can get in touch with Sita and me separately. But thank you so much for the session, ma'am. Very kind of you to have us. And thank you to all the teachers who attended today's session. I hope that Trainer Collective and the wise words of Mr. Sita was able to add value. Just don't keep it to yourself. Take it ahead, share it with your students, share it with your family members. The whole idea is to educate and make everybody aware of how important your mental health and emotional intelligence is. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So, participants, we'll meet tomorrow. Ma'am?
Yes, Kavita.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we can wind up.
We can wind up, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, participants. Thank you all.